Hi guys, we're going to start with lesson 8.3, which is still over common fractions, but mostly it's going to be dealing with finding a fraction of a whole number. Still working with unit fractions too, so remember a unit fraction is anything that has 1 as the numerator. So like 1/2 would be a unit fraction, 1/4 would be a unit fraction, but 3/8 would not be a unit fraction. So some of these slides aren't really going to be as relevant to you guys since we're not able to do some of the games that I had originally planned. I'm still going to use the slides, but just know every once in a while we're probably going to be skipping a few. So for instance, this second slide right here, we're skipping it. We'll start here with the target. So your target is I can multiply a whole number by a fraction. So your success criteria is I can explain my strategy for multiplying a whole number by a fraction. Okay, this brings us to the problem of 1/5 of 15. So I'm going to show you quickly how you would solve a problem like that. So you're dealing with 1/5 of 15. It's very similar to yesterday's lesson, guys. So if you have 1/5 of 15, you're trying to figure out, okay, if I divided up this 15 into 5 different groups, how many would be in each group? So, because I know my division facts, that's really simple for me. So, it'd be 15 divided by 5, which is 3. My answer would be 3. There's another way that you can go about it, though. You can use multiplication to solve problems like these. Whoa. There we go. Oh, I'm getting really confused now. You can use multiplication to solve problems like these. You can line it up so you have 1/5 multiplied by 15. And now you're probably thinking, I don't know how to do that. Well, it's not as complicated as it looks. So if I just take this 15 and I put it over 1, I haven't changed the number at all. This is still equal to 15. It's just saying I have 15 ones. Okay? Now, when you're multiplying fractions, all you have to do is multiply straight across. So 1 times 15 is 15. 5 times 1 is 5. Now you can't stop there because you're going to notice right here I have an improper fraction. The numerator is bigger than the denominator. So what I need to do is I need to ask myself, how many times will 5 go into 15 without going over? Well, we just know that because we know our multiplication facts, and that's 3. So your answer is 3. See how I did that? It's very similar to what we did yesterday, but yesterday was more division based, whereas today you're going to be working with multiplication. Okay? All right, so the next slide, you can kind of skip that. It's not necessary. But the bottom slide right here where it says game time, this is something we would have done in the classroom, but we're not able to anymore. So what I'm going to have you do is you're still going to do this. You're going to take one number from section A. You get to choose whichever one you want. And then one number from section B. And you're going to multiply them together. Okay? I want you to do 3 of those and then record your answer on the weekly lesson slides that I provided. And then when you're done, you can head over to your journal. And we'll kind of walk through this step up together. So, here's what your journal pages look like. It says, what whole numbers could complete this story? Okay, so it says, there are blank counters. 1/4 of the counters are blue. The rest of the counters are red. How many counters are blue? Okay, Dina chooses 12 as the total number of counters. She solves the problem like this. Okay, 1/4 of 12 is the same thing as saying 1/4 times 12. So she knew that 1 times 12 was 12, and then 4, now imagine there's a 1 underneath that 12. 4 times 1 is 4. So what do you notice about the number of counters chosen in the numerator in the answer box? What do you notice about the denominator? So when I look at these, I'm noticing that the 4 and the 12 have something in common, so that I could change that into a whole number. Now they want us to do the same type of problem, but instead we're going to choose a different total number. So choose a different total number, then write the missing numbers. So for instance, let's choose, I don't know, let's try 16. So now if I have to find 1/4 of 16, that would be the exact same thing as saying 1/4 times 16. So I'm going to show you how to do that one more time. So you've got 1/4 times 16. Now what we learned earlier in the video is that if I have a whole number and I just put it over 1, so I have 16/1, or 16 over 1, I'm sorry, that is the exact same thing. I didn't change the number, I'm just saying I have 16 ones. Now, multiplying fractions is easy. I can just multiply straight across. Now I have 1 times 16, which is 16, and 4 times 1, which is 4. So 16 divided by 4, essentially, which would be 4. Easy peasy. It's not that hard, guys. Now, they give you another way to kind of think of it too. If you're one of those people where visuals help you, this will really come in handy. So if you scroll down or look at this area of your journal, it says, sometimes it's not easy to think of a fraction of a whole number. For example, what is 1/3 of 5? One method to think of finding 1/3 of 5 is to think of finding 1/3 of 1 5 times. So what they did was they drew their own visual, and so they drew 1/3 5 different times. So now you can just use repeated addition. So you have 1/3 plus 1/3 plus 1/3 plus 1/3 plus 1/3. So you have a total of 5 thirds, okay? So it's not that hard. So if you want to do a visual like that to help you, go ahead. All right, good luck, guys.